Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Vicente Luque to defeat Stephen Thompson. And I'm here to talk about Randy Brown versus Wellington Turman. Wellington Turman is 26 years old, 18-6 as a pro, and he's giving up 3 inches of height and 6 inches of reach to 32-year-old Randy Brown, who is 16-5. Turman's dropping down in weight here from middleweight, and he still can't escape the fucking 6-inch reach of the welterweight. It's fucking amazing. Randy Brown is just a really big guy, and obviously he doesn't fill out like everybody else, but he's still got that reach and height. And let's break it down here like a fucking idiot, like John Fetterman. 16-5 for Randy Brown. He's got 6 wins via knockout, 5 wins via submission, 5 wins via decision. Very versatile. And his 5 losses come 2 via knockout, 2 via submission, 1 via decision. Pretty versatile there as well. He's only lost in the UFC to killers. Bilal Muhammad beat him by decision. The 2 knockouts come to Nico Price from the fucking funkiest position ever, and Vicente Luque. No shame there. And the 2 guys that submit him are Michael Graves and Jack Della Maddalena. Jack Della Maddalena, I forgot he submitted him. I really forgot he submitted him. I remember making the video the next day. I think I got so drunk that I only remembered the knockdown. He was knocked silly, but then he was submitted. And I got up the next day. I was like, what a fight. Jack Della Maddalena gets the knockout. But anyway, Randy Brown is a problem for a lot of fighters at range. You know, he's a guy that is so long and tall, and he's only developed as a striker throughout his career. He mixes shit up so well, and he moves very well as well for 15 straight minutes. I think his chin is always going to be an issue. You know, it's something that even in his last fight, which goes down as a submission victory, he got knocked down, and he's been knocked down a few times in victories, Chaos Williams and whatever else, but with the 2 knockout losses and everything else, I have it in my head, it's his primary weakness, his chin. And Wellington Turman, he's a guy that can crack, but he's much more of a submission threat. You know, Wellington Turman's a submission artist, a slick black belt. We saw him get that big win over Misha Serkinov, retired him pretty much. But, he's very skilled. Randy Brown's not out of the woods, though, when it comes, or out of the fight, I should say, when it comes to the ground game. I think here he's going to have a hard time submitting Wellington Turman, but Randy Brown has surprised me on occasion, tapping out Warley Alves in round 2. That's one of his better victories. Of course, maybe his best one was the Brian Barberena performance, because he just styled on him for 14.5 minutes and then put him away. Fucking phenomenal, that fight. But Wellington Turman, he's a guy that's also got a potentially weak chin. He's a guy that's been knocked out on 2 occasions. Bruno Silva, Andrew Sanchez. Andrew Sanchez caught him with a big shot down the middle. Bruno Silva knocked him dead on the ground. He's, those are 2 hard hitters, but Wellington Turman, he's a guy who I think will get knocked out in the future. I don't know about this fight, because Randy Brown, as dangerous as he is, he doesn't present that, Bruno Silva type of power. He's more of a volume guy and getting a TKO victory down the stretch, which he could totally do here. But Turman's other 4 losses come by decision to Carlston Harris, this guy Gian Sicaria, Carl Roberson, and Andre Petrosky. Petrosky fucking is a wrestling machine, and he was a wrestling machine in that fight. I don't expect that from Randy Brown. Randy Brown's going to want to win fighting on the outside and using his reach and his movement to frustrate Wellington Turman. And Wellington Turman, while he's beaten some really good fighters, Misha Serkinov, Sam Alvey, Marcus Perez, whoever the fuck else, I think he's running into a tough matchup here. I think he's got to close the distance and make this an inside fight, or rip him to the mat and get on top of him. And I don't think he's going to be able to do that with Randy Brown. And even if he does get on the inside, Randy, I'm sure his primary concern will be defending the takedown. But if he's, is able to reverse position and get Turman against the cage, I feel like he can beat him up in the clinch. Just in general, I know he's not going to want to be there. But Turman, if he is able to wrangle Randy Brown, being the big middleweight who comes down, I do think he can have a lot of success on the ground. I think he's just that much better jiu-jitsu wise, even though Randy Brown again is no slouch. But I'm picking Randy Brown to win. I think Randy Brown will win. I think it'll look somewhat similar to most of his somewhat recent victories. I expect this one to go to a decision, and I expect Randy to be leading the dance with his natural gifts and his long weapons, making this a jousting battle. So that's the pick. Much like Jamal Emmers, who also has 3 inches of height and 6 inches of reach on Jack Jenkins, I see Randy Brown's height and reach carrying him to a victory here. So that's the pick. I'll wait to see the money line, the prop bets. Right now, I threw a little bit on the money line at minus 210, Randy Brown, but I'm not in love with it again because he doesn't have that knockout threat, which is how I've seen the majority, I guess, or half of Turman's losses in the UFC anyway. So I think a decision is most likely for Randy Brown, and that's the pick. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.